I used to call him the African-American mayor of Nantucket. He was a guy who did so much for so many. He wanted no one to know what he was doing because it was like, Nanya, it's none of their business what I'm doing. People are more apt to ask for help if they can stay under the radar. And Augie was one of those people that, Augie and Rookie, and I remember Tony, that family, they would do anything for you. They would take the shirt off their backs if it would keep you warm. I'd rather have you warm for a week so I'll be cold for one night. And he always found a way.
Hurricane Katrina. Kept watching it on the news and thought something should be done and didn't know what to do. So one morning he got out on his computer and started telling his contact list that he thought we should do something. He had a 20-foot shipping container. Said if we could get things that they would need, he'd be happy to load up the container and we'd figure out how to get it down there to them. So as a result, with island-wide donations of clothing, kids bringing toys, food, all sorts of things that could be used and needed, we filled up with volunteer help, loading the boxes. We filled 5.5 20-foot shipping containers, and they were trucked on down. And everybody donated time. I don't think there was anybody that charged for their time.
Once they bought the chicken box, so if no one came in and got the jackets or whatever, I would put them in a bag and save them, and Augie would come in once a month, him and Rookie, and he would get a container, one of his 6,000 containers he had out there, and he would send a container back to the Cape Verde Azores every year, and we'd go through and sort it, and that was like one of the things we did together. But yeah, Augie did so much, and I'm sure that he would not want me to tell you all the things that he did, and I'm going to keep that to myself, but I wouldn't be the man I am today. He's one of the guys who influenced me and what I do today.
A group of Cape Verdeans, they formed a group called the Sons and Daughters of Cape Verde. They did various things in the community, trying to help people with housing, and I know my mother said that, a particular place, if they had a place opening up, that they would reach out to them to see if they knew of anyone in need.
Well, we decided once we were established and had some money coming in that we would form scholarships for the Nantucket students, Nantucket graduating high school students. We started off, I believe, with $300 because that's all we could afford at that time. And it was to a female and male. And then as the years went on, we says, okay, well, we can maybe do $500. And then eventually it was $1,000.
I tried to give back to the veterans. I was kind of hesitant at first, and then I realized that, a lot of guys, veterans need either help, they need, encouragement, or someone to talk to that's been there with them or seen stuff that they've seen, and that's why I kind of jumped right into that, and it's been a passion ever since. I really enjoy doing the services that we do, from I do the funerals to the dances to visiting at the island home.
Thanksgiving functions.
And yeah, do all the functions that we can, but and supporting veterans, when it comes time to give them what they need, whether it's a flag, a hug, a thank you, that's what we're here to do.
You have 3 women who were in, 2 which of Cape Verdean heritage, which had a lot of pull on Nantucket because they helped out those who needed help. So there was Kathleen Duncombe and then the 2 Donnas. Sometimes people don't know me that well or remember me that well. It's like, well, I remember your mother. I go, no, that's Donna Rab Barrows. My mother's Donna Fox. She goes, oh, those two Donnas. Donna Rab was what they call in Cape Verde a simpler mai, which was my other mother. People knew that they weren't intimidated by to go seeing the two Donnas, because sometimes you go to see people and you're in that situation, you're not at your best and you're embarrassed. But being how they were raised in their family, once you came in, what you say here stays here. Whether they needed fuel assistance, whether they needed food stamps, unemployment, or things like that. My mom, she said, Nanya business, what goes on in that office, because that was private. And that's why so many people went to the two Donnas, because they know if they said it to them, that was it.
Yeah, the pandemic hit, and we all met through a Zoom call. The aim was, to give people a voice in our community, and to serve, as an advocate that for people who feel that, they've been treated unfairly or overlooked, to be a resource, a sounding board.
I happened to pick up the local paper, and there was an article in the paper about the African Meeting House, African School. And I called the executive director at the Museum of Afro-American History. And before you know it, she recruited me into becoming the chair. And then I worked with the Friends of Nantucket with Helen Seeger. Not an easy job. It took us quite a bit of time to raise the funds. I think the challenge was folks didn't see it as their history, those here on the island, although many islanders that were part of the Friends did get involved. But yeah, it was a long haul, but I felt really good. It's probably one of most exciting times of understanding historic preservation, but also understanding the history of the Cape Verdeans, of the African Americans, the free blacks. It was a time for me that I got to know the island a little bit better. And also it was a time where I got a chance to spend a little bit of time with my dad and really began to understand why my father fell in love with this island and definitely wanted to come back.
He became ill. Now, he was a proud black man from down south, and he didn't want to accept help, no way, no how. But his situation got to the point where he needed some help. And with the help of Sherry Hunt, who runs Elder Services, we got him into a place where it was more manageable for him. But it came to the point where he couldn't cook for himself anymore. But he needed one solid meal. And then Sherry turned me on to Meals on Wheels, and I'm like, why doesn't nobody know about this? You know what I mean? Why doesn't anybody know about? But the thing about it is some people don't. It's easy to offer help, but it's even harder for people to receive it because it hurts their pride. So I remember one time I walked in this guy's house, and he was embarrassed. And I, not to use any names, I go, what's the problem? He goes, I don't want you to see me like this. I go, I've seen you at the box, I've seen you worse. Here's your meal. So that broke the ice.
My sister, we were both born with a disease of cystic fibrosis. So her life was not that easy with the disease. Mine is, as later and the older I get, the more difficulty I have with it. We, and I still do, talk with a lot of the parents and the younger children, what to expect, how to live. Some people have chronic diseases and they quit. We didn't find any reason to quit. We've survived a disease that said that we should not survive it. She no longer has survived it, but she was quite a lot older than ever expected to be.
So Tony contributed to a book for parents.
There is a book and a movie. They did a short movie You may still find it on PBS. And the book was called From Those Who Know.
I would love to. I would love to stay. I would love to be part of a community and give back to something that gave me so much, that gave my father so much, and my grandfathers, and even outside of our family, that gave everybody so much. It's about being better and doing better, and if I can do that in healthcare, if I could do that at church or through music, then absolutely, so be it. I have volunteered through the health department with Heather Francis as a vaccine nurse. So getting people boosted and making sure our community is safe and healthy. I think that also is part of our sort of core values as a family of, if you need us, call us, we'll be there. If I can find a place to live so I'm not under his roof forever.
I won't be there forever. I want to move to Florida. It's too cold.
Then I'll come visit you in the winter.
There you go.